Omar Guerra. He's an expert in e-commerce, and he's helped us in this project as well. So Omar, go ahead. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for your invitation for this presentation. I will share my screen now. Can you see it? Perfect. I will now start because we don't have a lot of time. In the presentation, we'll see some statistics and some information on how companies really are in the region and which are the trends, and to see how we tackle this new stage that we are living. We knew that the company's digitalization topic had a lot of strengths behind it, but COVID-19 made it even more so. Actually, COVID-19 made companies that were not digitalized to enter the digitalization process. It was just like that. Those who didn't adapt were left out of the market. So we'll see some important points today. One of the important points is that today we are a profile. Whether you are a person or a company, we have digital profiles: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. What do we measure, or what is measured in these days when they enter the digital environment? We have a digital thumbprint. So what's this? This is the remains of information that we leave online. So imagine you look me up, and they don't find a website, they don't find a picture, no social media. You don't have this information remains. So this digital thumbprint is translated into trust and sales. But if they don't find me in the digital environment, it's easy. They just look for someone else. But what happens if I, as a person or as an organization, I have a website, I have social media, I have pictures I've shared from the events, I have products that I published online? This information trail that I'm leaving on a digital format is translated into trust, into confidence, and into sales. So it's really important that the companies are born digital. And if they are not born that way, they should transform into a digital form as soon as possible. On an international level, we know, and when we talk about e-commerce nowadays, most think that having a website is a synonym of selling. Having a website is not a synonym of sales. It's the first step when we start working. Of course, when we talk about e-commerce and digitalization, we're talking about systemic work. What does this mean? Systemic work means to have a presence, to have a website, to have social media, a marketplace, and to have a systemic work on all the platform level that allow me to have a digital presence and you can track the activities I do on a digital level. Having a website is not a synonym of sales, and having a static the website won't lead anywhere. We should know this from the beginning. The organizations or companies that enter the digital companies need systemic work on a digital level.
I can have the best website worldwide, and the best website I have paid $15,000 for the website, but if my product doesn't get on time to the final consumer, the user experience is wasted. Reliability is wasted and lost, and the sales experience is lost for a B2B sales experience or B2C, so wholesale or retail or final consumer. So globally, what we are working nowadays is on e-commerce, and we are working on cross-border e-commerce or transboundary e-commerce. So mature markets such as the United States, Europe, or Asia need the positioning of my products in the destination markets and then trade them. So what we evaluate in e-commerce is the last mile. So this last mile is paramount. to get to the final consumer. If we don't work in this last mile format, we won't be able to get to international markets, and likewise to an internal or domestic market. So it happens quite often in many regions in Latin America, in the provinces or the organizations that are not in the capital city. They feel like trading is like exporting. So we have to work on this last mile format. So the regional companies can send and position their products in the capital city or wherever they want to trade them, and to work in this last mile format. The sanitary emergency has caused an acceleration in e-commerce consumption at regional level. During the lockdown, the first week, it grew more than 100% in e-commerce, and the fourth week in the lockdown, we reached 300% in e-commerce consumption. So as I said before, at the regional level, the e-commerce, this lockdown has led or has caused that maybe here in Latin America, we wanted what we projected for 10 years, well, it's been much speedy. So companies which were adapted to this format, were able to go to the international market or were able to grow in e-commerce. As you can see on the screen, the market share of e-commerce in Latin America. And we have the monsters there, which were getting ahead: Brazil, Mexico, Argentina. Chile, Colombia, Peru have exponentially grown. And the interesting thing here is, in this format in pandemic times, is that if we want to give it a name, the e-commerce has been democratized. It has reached all levels in trading, from the smallest to the biggest companies. So they have been able to enter this sales format, because though e-commerce had already grown in the region, it had done so because of the retail of the multi-brand stores in the region. But this was not the case for SMEs or small companies. So it has promoted the democratization of companies, and they have been, all of them, been able to grow. The growth from 2021 to 2025 is profiling with Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia as the main players in the region. And it's even so that when we talk about e-commerce, we have to divide this into sectors: the B2B, this volume sales, and B2C, that is sales to final consumers. The latter is a market which has grown. We have sales in retail online Latin America, where we have different possibilities for processed products. They are sold to final consumers or end consumers. So in the region, most of companies, most of organizations don't have products for final consumers, but rather the products don't have value added or some sort of processing. So they lose this value adding level we have at the regional level. In retail sales, in Latin America has grown from 2019 and 2020 quite much, but the players such as Asia, Europe, or United States, they are big players. So we talk about e-commerce with mature markets. And as I said before, they themselves and us in the region, if we want to sell products to them, our products have to be in the market, destination market. Just to close up, regarding the regional level, there is a statistic by Mercado Libre: 55% of items delivered were delivered at a 48 hours maximum. So, the last mile is important, is paramount, because the end consumer knows the product. They know and they want the product to be delivered as fast as possible. So without any further ado, I want to tell you that we have possibilities to enter interesting markets. Companies can be digital and get on board on this digital format in the region. It's growing exponentially. And so I would like to thank you all for this opportunity and to deliver this presentation to Rick, Rocio, and all Agriterra team. Thank you very much. Thank you, Omar. Now